Let me tell y'all what we've been up to in September. Guess what? It's Friday. Happy Friday. I hope your Friday is going well. My Friday is, because we're wrapping up this week, and I'm gonna tell y'all what we're talking about. But before I do, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, comment, and share the button, you know, the button that you have to press for the Stocker family if you like what we're doing in these homeschool streets. So I am Camille A. Stocker. I am a homeschool mom of 2 girls, a 2nd and a 4th grader, and I am here to take you on our journey of our day in life of homeschooling with me. So what have we been up to? You know, initially I said we were doing unit studies. Guess what? We did the unit studies. We wrapped up. We wrapped up today because today is the last day. And as a matter of fact, we were not supposed to have any lessons this week, but I forgot that it was the end of Hispanic Heritage Month, so we had to do something special. But I do want to share all of the books that we did use, sort of like a wrap up, just so you can see. And if you would like to get these books and use them in your homeschool, that's what I'm here for. So I want to start off with our main course. It was Esperanza Rising. I know I had talked about it a lot because this was it. This book is amazing. You can pull so many activities from it. Even in the back, it tells you some of the activities that you can use. One of the activities that we did do on Wednesday was we had a fiesta. We did a book wrap party, and because it is Hispanic Heritage Month, this is the last week, I said, hey, let's do a fiesta. So in the back of the book, they had a hibiscus flower punch. So we made the flower punch. Not to give away everything in the book, but in every chapter, there is a fruit or a vegetable. So it starts off with grapes. So we had our grapes. In there's a chapter about cantaloupe. So we had some cantaloupe, peaches, plum, almond, and we made almond bread. So that goes hand in hand. So you could just pull a lot of things. In this book, they also have how to make a yarn doll. We didn't get to do that activity because we didn't have enough yarn to do the doll, but it's okay. So that's basically, I've explained what a unit study is before, but you just read the book, you go through and you pull out what it is that you want. We started off doing heavy with vocabulary. We started off doing writing sessions, and then after a while, it's just like, okay, it was too much like school, and so I was like, okay, let's just read the book. Let's talk about it. Let's randomly have conversations about it. If I tell you to write something, write it. How would you feel if you were in her shoes? This book, it says it was like a 5th grade reading level. I don't really care about reading levels. If it's something that I can explain to them, then that's what I'm going to do. Also with this book, and then I'll show all the other books, I did create Google Slides. So I've created these slideshows. If you've been watching the journey, we have been talking about what the Roaring Twenties were, what the Harlem Renaissance was, and what the Great Depression was. So as I went through the book every day, I would pull out the importance of what we were talking about, and I would make a slideshow. So we go into depth. And here's one thing about my slideshows. Y'all gonna have to check them out because my children said that they were awesome. And I believe it because they're not gonna tell me that something's awesome and it's not. But I did pull out a lot of information. Just to give a backstory on what we did, what we pulled out. So there was like Charlie Chaplin, Clara Bow. We listened to Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington. I researched a lot of people so that they could know it. And I went on YouTube a whole lot. A lot of the information that I also got about the Great Depression, about the Harlem Renaissance, there is this show called The Crash Course on YouTube. So you're on YouTube right now. After you watch this, go check out The Crash Course. But they have a lot of information about history. So I was able to have the girls watch the Roaring Twenties, the Great Depression, the Great Migration, and they learned that, and then it was on. Then we come back to the book and we learn about that some more, and then I would have my slideshow. It was fun. I really enjoyed this unit study. Then the activities that we did, more writing papers. I'm gonna give you this idea if you do decide to do the 1920s, Harlem Renaissance, the Great Depression. Have your child pretend that they are in that era. Pick some people who they would like to meet. And the girls did this, and they met at the Sugar Bowl, not the Sugar Bowl, Lord, that's from Arthur. The Cotton Club and the Savoy, the Savoy Room. And so they pretended that they were there and that they were dancing and that they met these famous people and that their moms and dads were there. Also in the Great Depression, my youngest learned about how there were people in Hoovervilles because they lived in shanties, so they were homeless. So her characters were two homeless girls who lived in the shanties, and then they homeschooled themselves. And and my husband told her, well, how they homeschooled themselves? And I was like, them streets, because the Great Depression, they were orphans, you know, they was out just wandering. Aha, laugh at the joke. It was kind of corny, y'all. But okay, so I used those 3 books to teach about the Great Depression. Now with science, I started off with 1 book in science and I was like, this is boring. So for the rest of the time, every Tuesday is our science days. Every Tuesday we started talking about bugs. So a while back I found this at Target. Can you see it? But in the inside it has magnets and you just put the magnets where it belongs. But it also gives you like some information about the bugs. Then it says the arthropods. And then you read them off, and I sat there and I actually read these off to my girls while we sat outside, and we found like most of these bugs outside. We were looking under our flower pot in the grass. One day we were sitting there and a wolf spider just happens to join us outside, and he had 5 legs. So he was missing, you know, spider has 8 legs, missing some legs, but that was pretty cool. And we found some things that we didn't know existed. And so the other book that we used for science was this big insect book, and I'll open it so you can see like really quickly what trying to show y'all something. It shows butterflies and moths, but you can like, there's flaps under some, or like you pull it out, and so you learn some more about it. And then they were able to draw. Also with science, I was on YouTube again. We were watching videos on these really big insects, and that was kind of cool. Very, very creepy, but cool. So in that, use YouTube. Just write it in the search bar if you want to learn about it. Use YouTube. All right, so as you know, every Wednesday we do poetry. We talk about Poetry Wednesday. This was real heavy in our Harlem Renaissance time period. So it's I Too Sing America, the 3 centuries of African American poetry. This book is titled after one of Langston Hughes's poems. So yeah, it's pretty cool how that is inside. So if you like poetry like I do, this is a real good book to have and what we've been using. Now, this last week, because it is, like I said before, Hispanic Heritage Month, we have been in these books heavy. So this is The Courageous History Makers. I am kind of bummed because this is all the women. I don't have the one with all the men, so I had to go and try and find Hispanic men on my own. That was difficult, but I'm gonna get the men. But it shows a lot of women that I did not know about, and so just to celebrate them, that's, what is this? Courageous History Makers. Next up, this book, this is amazing. It's called Yes We Are Latinos, Poems and Prose About the Latino Experience by Alma Flor Ada and F. Isabel Campoy. So it gives like these backstories on how indigenous people are here from Mexico. Not just Native Americans, but Hispanic people are indigenous people. So that's kind of cool. And it gives like these backstories. And then they also have like poems or prose, and it says, like, for example, this one says, my name is Jose Miguel, not Joe, not Mike. And they just give stories on how in the United States, people try and change them. But he's like, hey, do you know this? Do you know the reason why I'm named this? I don't want to be Mike. I don't want to be Joe just because you think it'll be easier. But this book is telling like just some history. I like history a lot. So next up, we read this every year. It's called Pepe and the Parade. And this is just to honor the Hispanic people for the celebration of Hispanic heritage. Next up, last book, Separate is Never Equal. This is a Sylvia Mendez and her family's fight for desegregation. This is a really good book. I cannot pronounce Duncan's last name, but it's a good read. The pictures are very, very beautiful, very vibrant, and it also shows that, for me, that Black people were not the only ones to go through what they went through, that Hispanic people also went through it, Asian people went through it. So everybody's story goes hand in hand, and that's one of the deals, that's one of the things that I do want to teach my children. Culture, not just our culture, but everybody else's culture. We all have a story. We all came from somewhere, and so that's a goal of mine, to teach my children history. So those are the books that we used during September for our unit study. This, as I said, this was the first time I've ever done a unit study, and I had fun researching everything. Like the slideshow that I did for Hispanic Heritage Month, I want to show, but it's like, but we did Celia Cruz. We learned about Selena. We learned about some people who came from Cuba, and we learned all the flags and everything. So that has been amazing, and that's what we've been up to in September for our unit study. So let me know what y'all have been learning in your homeschool. You know, are you doing unit studies like I always ask, or what curriculum are you using? Matter of fact, what is your favorite curriculum that you are using? So I hope you enjoy what I just shared. I hope you do pick up some of these books. Oh my goodness, I forgot a book, because on Monday was Indigenous Peoples Day, and that book that we read was Stolen Words, and that book, oh wow, he's a Cree, he's Native American, and he was taken from his land, and his language was taken away, and he had to learn English, and so it's like stolen words. And so his granddaughter goes and finds a book for him to remember, and so they start learning the words, and it comes back to him like, this is what how we used to speak. So, man, I forgot to bring that book on camera, but it's fine. So if you like these books, pick them up, let me know what you think, and as always, I pray you have a blessed day. I pray you have a blessed week. I pray you have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.